How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to the Changeup. We have ourselves a big signing here, really the first major signing of this offseason. We have Dylan Cease going to the Toronto Blue Jays on a 7-year, $210 million contract. Now, this is going to be more of an unscripted video. This is kind of just my first initial reaction to this signing. Off the top of my head, I think this is really nice for the Blue Jays. This is, a pretty hefty contract. 7 years, $210 million puts him at an AAV around $30 million, which for context here, as we pull up Spotrac, we've got Snell here. We've got DeGrom sitting at $37 million, Snell sitting at $36 million a year. We've also got Garrett Cole around 36. So Corbin Burns last year, of course, signing his big deal with the Diamondbacks. So we've got a couple of pitchers here. Now, I'm not going to say that Dylan Cease is any of those pitchers, but he's being paid a little bit less, right around that of Garrett Crochet, Tyler Glasnow, Max Fried, some of these guys. Fried got an extra year, so that's why he's a little bit lower. Now, I've been seeing a lot on social media saying that this is a bit of an overpay, and I kind of agree with that, but I don't think it's as bad as people are making it out to be. Look, is Dylan Cease going to be worth the same as Garrett Crochet? Probably not. I think Crochet's got a bit higher of a ceiling. Crochet's a true ace, whereas Dylan Cease is more of a number 2 guy. But look, the Blue Jays are a team with a lot of money, and I think if the Blue Jays are willing to spend that type of money to get a guy like Dylan Cease, I don't think there's a problem with that personally. Now, Cease is a weird pitcher, though, because he has had his fair share of inconsistencies, and realistically, this is a bit of a risky contract to give a guy who kind of year in, year out either shows up or doesn't. Pulling up Fangraphs here, we can take a look at him year by year, and we can see here that he's kind of an even year guy. We can see 2021, he had a near 4 ERA, a little bit of a better expected ERA, better FIP. But as we can see here, 2022, he had a much better season. 23, he took a big step back. 24, he had a nice season. And then 25, he was not very good at all, really. Now, granted, his expected ERA, his FIP, his xFIP were all a lot better than his actual ERA, and that's more than likely due to the Padres having a pretty poor defense behind him. But there's no doubt that this is a bit more of a risky play by the Blue Jays here. I mean, this was a guy that they were kind of saying might not get $30 million a year just because of some of this stuff that we're looking at here. But clearly they don't care about that. Now, of course, there's a lot to like as well about Dylan Cease. He consistently leads the league in strikeouts. He led last year in K per 9. He's a guy that's going to walk a lot of guys, but he's kind of like Blake Snell where you don't really care as long as he has the strikeout numbers to match it. So we can dive a little bit deeper here as we pull up Baseball Savant, and we can see here that his fastball run value was a little bit low last season. Cease is really a 2-pitch guy. He mainly sticks with the 4-seam slider. He'll mix in a knuckle change, he mixes in a sinker, but really his bread and butter is those 2 pitches. So yeah, this is an interesting move in my opinion. I really thought the Jays would go for a guy more like Zach Gallen, a little bit of a lower money, maybe lower ceiling, but also less of a risk involved with it. I really did think they'd be more in on Bichette and maybe Kyle Tucker. Now, going off what I was saying a little bit earlier, I do think this is a bit of an overpay. I think Cease is a really good pitcher. I think he's definitely a good number 2 guy. And I think adding him to a rotation where you've already got Gausman, you've got Shane Bieber, you've got Trey Savage, you've got Jose Barrios, I think he'll be great for him. $30 million AAV is a bit of a steep price point, though, for a guy like Dylan Cease. I definitely didn't think he'd get to 30. Like I said, just some of the inconsistencies with him, as we've seen last year and in 2023, kind of made me a little bit wary of him. Now, obviously, if you're a Blue Jays fan, I think this is a very good move for you guys. That should go pretty much without saying. I think this is going to make your team a lot better. And for a team that was really just right there, I think the Blue Jays should have won the World Series last year. I think they could have. For a team that's right there, I think this is a great move to make. Cease is going to give you innings. He's going to give you strikeouts. He's going to give you walks, but most of the time when he's right, he's not going to get hurt by them too badly. And more importantly, he's going to make your team better now, which is what you want. The Blue Jays are very close to winning a World Series last season, and I have no doubt in my mind that they'll be close again next year, if not winning it. The interesting thing to me now comes in with the free agency class. The Blue Jays were seen to be, I wouldn't say heavy favorites, but definitely favorites to sign Kyle Tucker, and I don't know where they stand after this. A $210 million deal is a lot to give a guy if you're also expecting to sign a guy to a $400 million deal. And before anyone says anything, I know the Blue Jays are one of the richest teams in baseball. I have no doubt in my mind that they could do this. I'm just wondering if they will. Because you have to remember, they also have Bo Bichette as a free agent. And to me, he seems like a more pressing issue than Kyle Tucker. He's a guy that's been with the organization for a long time. Fans like him. I mean, he's also going to cost less. To me, I think that seems like a much better fit than Kyle Tucker. And is Bichette even going to happen at this point? I mean, it's worth asking. That's $200 million is a pretty big deal. And with Guerrero also being extended last season with the $500 million deal, they're going to have a very large payroll going into 2026 and beyond. I mean, if we look here in 2026, the competitive balance tax is going to be $244 million. And as we can see here on Spotrac, this is going to be the current tax payroll, and that is without Dylan Cease. So this is going to be the projected tax payroll for next season. They have cleared the competitive balance tax here by a pretty good margin, and signing another guy to another long-term deal after that, I'm not sure. Now, of course, that's playing devil's advocate a little bit. I do still think they'll re-sign Bo Bichette, but I'm not sure about Kyle Tucker. I really do think that another team might be able to swoop him up now. I haven't been super in on Kyle Tucker going to a team like the Dodgers yet this offseason. It just seems to me like the Dodgers prioritize guys that they really, really want, and it just doesn't seem like they want Tucker all that much. And some recent reports would back that up, seeing as how the Dodgers were seen as more of a periphery for Kyle Tucker. And the only reason I think the Blue Jays could still maybe have a chance at Tucker is the fact that I don't really think Tucker's got a huge market right now. I don't really see the Yankees spending big this offseason. I know that might make some people mad, but I really don't. And I think there might have been some reports backing that up too. I'm not totally sure on that one. But yeah, Tucker's market's going to be really interesting. It doesn't seem like the past couple of seasons where you had Ohtani and it was pretty clear he was going to LA, or Judge where it was pretty clear he was going to go to the Yankees, or Soto last season where it was pretty much Mets and Yankees. This seems a lot more open, so it's going to be interesting to see what teams end up jumping into the mix here. I still think the Blue Jays have a great chance of signing him, don't get me wrong, but I do not think they're going to sign all three. I think they've got Cease now, and at this point it's going to be one or the other. It's going to be either Bichette or Tucker. So it's going to be interesting to see what they end up doing. I think the Blue Jays are pretty clearly going to be one of the best teams in baseball next season. They already kind of were this year, and they just added another great pitcher. Overall, I really like this signing. It was a little pricey, but who cares? The Blue Jays have the money. Who cares if they spend it? Blue Jays fans, if I were you, I would be very happy. This is a great signing. It shows that your team is committed, shows that they're going all in, and I expect you guys to be great next year. And we'll see what ends up happening with Bichette and Tucker. I still think the Blue Jays could be significant players in both of those markets, but this definitely throws a wrench in the idea of the Blue Jays being favorites for Tucker, in my opinion. But with that, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please make sure to hit the like button and subscribe. I do a lot of baseball content on my channel. A lot of it's more scripted than this. This was kind of just a reaction video to this crazy signing that we just saw. But make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you could. I would really appreciate it. And as always, I will see you in the next video.